Good evening, Delaware, and welcome live inside DLS Weekly, back at Buffalo Wild Wings. This time, we made the trip downstate. Here we are live from the Rehobeth Beach location. Nick Allison journey alongside Glenn Frazier, Benny Mitchell, Jason Winchell, and Mike Lang. Nick Halliday on the other side as always. And guys, here we are. We're down in Benny Mitchell country. Benny, how's it feel to have the family over for dinner?
Hey, it's great. I mean, short trip down the road for me. Got to take in a middle school football game and still in flip-flops. Not November 1st yet.
Shorts and flip-flops, can't beat that. Sure. So there you go. There we are down here at Rehobeth Beach, Lighthouse Plaza. And guys, we're here to talk. We're going to reveal our new Super 7s for this week. We're going to start by recapping some of the matchups that you all had the luxury of calling this past weekend. Then we got a special night tonight as we welcome on the Milford Buccaneers. The Bucs in the house tonight, so we'll get a chance to talk to head coach Jed Bell and company here, and that's just coming up a little bit later on. So guys, let's start with some of these recaps. Everybody had some good matchups this past weekend here up and down the state of Delaware in terms of some football matchups. And Glenn, let's start right here with you to my left, and you had a good one, Dover at Smyrna.
Yeah, and Smyrna bit once again by the turnover bug. And I don't think Dover turned the ball over at all in the game, but Smyrna had 3 big turnovers. They had a pick in the end zone. They gave up 2 fumbles. One was right before the end of the first half when they were again deep in Dover territory going in to score. So it has really hurt them in a couple of close games. They lost to Middletown by 2 points, 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions in that one, and they lose to Dover by 4 points in that one. And the oddity in that game was Smyrna went for 2 after the first score, like they always do, so it was 8-0. Dover scores. They decide they're going to go for 2. Dover scores 3 touchdowns on the night. They never kick an extra point, and they miss all their 2-point conversions, but they still win the ball game. Dover, without Jaquan Kilby, is still maybe the most dangerous team in the state, and kudos to John Parker for picking up the slack as he's moved from wide out to running back.
And that's pretty scary, one of the best running backs in the state of Delaware, and Jaquan Kilby. Benny, you know how good he is. Pretty scary that there still might be atop the food chain here in the first state.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they just got so many weapons, Okay, so they're -1 shotgun right now. They have so many weapons in their arsenal, and they're just going to be a tough out all the way down. And if they have that semi again with Smyrna, coming off that close game, Smyrna probably now thinks, hey, we can play with these guys. So that semi, unless Dover gets that 1C, could be very interesting.
Yeah, that's something to maybe pay attention to as we get down the line. And Benny, while we have you had a good one as well. CR at Cape Henlopen. Talk a little bit about how that one went.
Great. Weather moved out. We had rain. The rain moved out. The Cape Henlopen's homecoming. The parade comes into the stadium. Homecoming night, and it was a night fit for a king. King James. Markai James with 4 touchdowns and 216 yards. Homecoming king at halftime. So it was his night, and he made some of those touchdowns where he was caught after maybe a 1 or 2 yard gain and just made some moves, and he turned like nothing into touchdowns all night long. And CR just could never get it going until late in the game. They got to their running game, and then it was penalties and I think 3 interceptions. They got put in a position where they had to throw the ball, and Cape knew they were throwing, and Cape has set themselves up for a run down here at the end. They got the Smyrna Eagles coming in on Friday night, so Smyrna coming in at 2-5, Cape at 4-3. Probably the start of the state tournament for both of them.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. We'll talk about that one, I'm sure, here a little bit later on. And then Mike and Jay, welcome down. A nice long trip for you guys here as well, making the trip down to Buffalo Wild Wings. You guys had the luxury of checking out, at least for a little while, Mike, Charter and Del Castle. Jason, you guys want to touch a little bit on that one?
Yeah, first of all, a great atmosphere at Del Castle, the first ever game under the lights. It's great for the kids. They sold about 800 tickets, which is a lot for that program. Some of the former players came back. Great atmosphere, great game, defensive battle between 2 teams, and I think Del Castle is better than what the record shows. They've lost a lot of close games, and that was another one in the 7-0 defeat to Wilmington Charter. Good win for the Charter program, who moved up a class. They picked up 2 points from playing up and then picking up the win. But it was a really low scoring, not many first downs. The defense is controlled, but it was an awesome atmosphere under the lights.
And it's always fun when you get games like that. I know we had the chance to do the Tatnall game under the lights a few years ago. A heck of an experience there. And then, obviously, this one at Del Castle, something similar over there. But now, Mike, I come to you with this question. We've talked about a few results here over the past weekend. Were you surprised by any of the scores that you were able to see this past week for high school football?
Now you're back in my time machine here. Not too much. I don't think last week was really a big surprise week. I think the Friends shutting down Woodbridge after Woodbridge went up 12-0, and after that they didn't score again. The Friends did a great job coming back, and I was able to get out to watch that game. It was good. It was the 275th anniversary of Friends. It's 275, Nick, of Friends School, and there were a lot of people on campus on Saturday at Friends. And I know if you've been to games there, you walk up the hill and you're basically on the field. So there were people surrounding that field, and it was really cool out there at Friends. You mentioned the lights at Del Castle. Friends didn't bring lights in, but they brought a lot of people, and and they're looking good, man. They're looking really, really good. And an overtime win for Brandywine last week. So I didn't get a chance to go see that one, but they just keep rolling by. We'll get Brandywine on the show next week. So
that's right. A little foreshadowing of what to expect.
Lightning Gate.
That's right.
Lightning Gate.
Delay, yes. Yeah. Also a lightning delay at Tower Hill. I was there for part of that game. And
you're just bringing the lightning everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, the temporary lights, we have Charter under the temporary lights. It's not on 302, but Charter has temporary lights, and Conrad has a game coming up also under the lights. So it's a kind of a neat trend, and it's good to see. It brings a lot of excitement. Yeah,
absolutely. Benny, anything stand out to you? A surprise, maybe just a score that you thought was a big deal?
I was surprised at the Smyrna Dover score. Two prolific offenses, and they decided to play defense that night. When we were going back getting some scores, I was like, what's going on? Neither team wants to score tonight. So, I was real surprised at that score, how low it was with two good offenses.
Yeah, again, always a battle when those two get together. Maybe thought it was going to be a shootout, Glenn, but again, a little defense decided to be the main theme of Friday night. Glenn, I know going off the script here, anything stand out to you from this past weekend?
Well, Benny was surprised about the score of our game. I was surprised about the score of his game. I thought CR might give Cape a little more of a battle, especially after seeing what they did against Smyrna. They threw the ball deep. They have very good wide receivers. Scored 3 touchdowns against Smyrna's defense. And Middletown couldn't do that. They only scored twice. That's right. So I was looking for more out of Caesar Rodney. I think Cape came with a much more decisive win than I expected. And looking forward to Cape against Smyrna. Like Benny said, the start of the playoffs for those two.
And again, so that recaps and wraps up our recaps for this past weekend. Again, we come back a little bit later on the show. We'll look ahead to what's coming up this weekend here in high school football in the state of Delaware. We're going to take our first break here today from the Buffalo Wild Wings here in Rehobeth Beach. When we come back, a special guest. We've got the Milford Buccaneers joining us here live at B-Dubs. We'll be joined by him here up front right after the break. We'll be right back.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, Because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution. We are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home.
First State Orthopedic statewide has 29 physicians at 16 locations.
Welcome back live inside DLS Weekly. We are at the Rehobeth Beach Buffalo Wild Wings as we travel up and down the state each and every Wednesday. Nick Alessandrini alongside Glenn Frazier, and now we have the luxury to be joined by head coach Jed Bell and the Milford Buccaneers. Guys, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here on a Wednesday night. Coach, thank you. And guys, we just want to go around, introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
Daenerys Horsey, number 4, running back and linebacker, senior.
Charles Shorts, running back, outside linebacker. I'm a senior.
Aston Hudson, 53, linebacker guard.
Jack Hudson, number 8, senior quarterback.
They did a good job with that.
That's right. All right, there you go. They're ready to go.
Practice a little bit.
And we appreciate it again, guys. Thank you. We know how busy you guys are on a Wednesday here during the school week, so we appreciate it. And just to get started, I'm sure you guys probably have placed some orders, put some orders in for some food tonight. So the first question is an easy one for you. What's your go-to menu item, your go-to food order here when you come to Buffalo Wild Wings? Coach, we'll start with you.
Well, I'll answer for Daenerys, the strawberry lemonades.
There you go.
So, got to go with some wings, but bone in. I'm not a big boneless guy.
Bone-in wings, absolutely.
Asian sing boneless wings, fried pickles, and strawberry lemonade.
Fried pickles, I like that.
Boneless wing, honey barbecue.
I just go with the boneless, just medium wings.
Boneless medium, all right.
Yeah, same thing here, just medium boneless wings.
Gotcha. There you go.
Pretty boring.
I like
Pretty
the
boring
fried
responses.
pickles. I'm up with the fried pickles. Good call.
That is a good one. That is a good one. And, Coach, let's start and dive right in and talk a little bit about the season so far. You make your return here to the sidelines at Milford, a special place for you. Just talk about what that feeling has been like for you personally to come back to Milford and now lead the way here in the first season.
Yeah, it's been special. Obviously, your alma mater, a place you care a lot about, like you said. But I think more importantly, it's great to be back around kids. These guys, the 4 that are here with us, but, our entire program as a whole, since March, since we got going, these guys have balled in. They've been all about the process and what we're trying to put in place in terms of, just the way we do things on a daily basis. These guys have been really great to coach. It's been a lot of fun. I wish I had more time with them, quite honestly, but great group of kids. And just, again, really proud of our guys for buying in and being all about what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and then also, guys, now for you, your first season with Coach. Just talk a little bit about how that's been for you guys as players here in the first year at Milford.
It's been great, man. He came here and put us in unknown territory, playing for a playoff spot, and we just trying to make the most out of it right now.
It's been a really good time. We push each other every day. He pushes us to max potential every day. 3 times conditioning practice at least sometimes, but gotta do what you gotta do. Makes us better. So
we just always been working, just being more physical, being more conditioned, being just better executing always.
There you go, Glenn.
Coach, only 3 games left in the regular season, and it's all district play from here on out. If you take a look at the standings in the district you're in Class 2A, Delmar and Woodbridge 2-0 in the district. You're 1-1, Lake's 1-1. And look at the schedules coming down the stretch here, because Delmar plays you, Laurel, and Woodbridge. you play Sussex Tech, Delmar, and Lake, and Woodbridge plays Lake, Sussex Tech, and so you're playing each other. You're going to knock each other off. So talk about running the gauntlet here. I know it's one game at a time. Sussex Tech's up first.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It kind of feels like the old Henlopen South a little bit, you know, which is obviously special for a number of reasons. But, you know, we talked about it earlier today. Just these guys, again, like to be here week 8 and you're playing meaningful football, that's what it's about, you know. And you know, people remember November. That's the month, right, that at the end of the day we're going to talk about and look back on good, bad, and different. We're hoping it's a lot of good. So to your point, 1 week at a time, we've got a lot of work left ahead. But we've got to control our business and kind of allow things to, you know, shape up the way that it will. But we feel good about doing what we got to do. And we, you know, we're thrilled to be in the position we're in, but there's a lot of work left to be done.
How about you players? I know coaches said no, don't look ahead. There's no looking ahead. So you're focused on the Ravens, Sussex Tech. How have workouts been going this week in preparation for this game?
We've been very focused and we've been conditioning all that all season. So we ready. We ready.
I think this week in practice and even last week for Laurel, physicality has been key. It's been just one of our main focuses and just executing everything right.
Yeah, we're just focused on Sussex Tech right now, and it's just been focusing on that, getting our plays right, getting, you know, being physical, and just, you know, can't let anybody beat us. You got to beat them. So we're just physical all the time.
And guys, obviously, you know, a little bit of a tough game against Woodbridge a few weeks ago, able to rebound nicely against Laurel. Just talk a little bit about going through some of that adversity. What did you learn about yourselves maybe in that game, and how you were able to follow it up with a performance the following week?
We just got to stay resilient. We tend to get too excited about, you know, the good things, then we get down about the bad things that happen. We try to thrive off every moment in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else?
I'll just say, you know, these guys, we certainly put ourselves in some bad positions early in that game, but as a coach, you know, just thrilled with the resiliency here of these guys and the ability to battle back in that game and make it 2 possessions late. We didn't do ourselves any favors in the first half, early in the third quarter, and that just kind of, to me, showed that these guys are buying in, right, to this process as a whole, and they trust what we're doing. And you know, it was a great bounce back win last week against a really good physical Laurel team, so really proud of these guys for their effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Great rebound.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one real tough question now. Those were easy ones. Who's your favorite NFL team, and who's your favorite player? It can be a player from the past or a player from the present.
Role model, maybe somebody you model your game after, or just a favorite player in general. What do you guys go?
I'll be the jokester first. I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan.
There you go. Okay.
My oldest daughter's name is Peyton. That's probably a little too much information. But Dallas Clark was my guy.
Okay.
Dallas Clark, number 44. Yep.
All right. There you go.
Philadelphia Eagles. My favorite player, Devontae Smith.
I like that.
Baltimore Ravens. My favorite player, Saquon Barkley.
New England Patriots, my favorite player is Brian Urlacher.
49ers, my favorite player is George Kittle.
There you go.
Good
That's
mix.
A good one. That's
Good
right.
mix.
Yeah, good mix. No
Gotta
duplicates over
Help
there.
this Patriots guy out a little bit. He redeemed himself
I'll say
with
Coach Dallas
Brian
Clark. That's a good
Urlacher.
one there.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And now, guys, just to talk a little bit about Sussex Tech, you know, your opponent coming up this week. Coach, we'll start with you and then we'll head over to you guys as well. What do you know about the Ravens? What challenges do they present? And what do you guys need to do to come away with a victory this weekend?
I think you know you're back in the Henlopen South, right, when you're facing another team that runs the wing tee. So that's good to see. You know, they're really well coached. Coach Illingworth does a fantastic job. You know, he's got other great guys down there on his staff, and they're going to be well coached. They're going to be prepared and disciplined. They've certainly got athletes, and we've got our work cut out for us there. But, you know, we've had a good week, and we'll feel prepared going in on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, now over to you as well.
You know, obviously it's a conference game going into it, so it's going to be physical. You know, they're going to load the box. You know, they got good run game, but I think we got, you know, a good physical defense and a physical O-line that can counter that. So I think if we just stick to the game plan, if we stick to what our strengths are, I feel like in the end we can come out the win, you know.
There you go.
Miles?
You know, like Jack said, it's a conference game. We got to build off every play in the game. They got a good run game, 2 great running backs on their team, and we just got to stay the course and stay resilient.
Absolutely. And guys, also just quickly here, obviously we talked about it already, first year under coach here. What maybe is it about this team? What is special about this group of guys that you guys have this season, maybe as opposed to some of the other teams that you guys had in the past at Milford? And Coach, maybe you at some other programs as well. What do you think separates this team from some of the teams that you've had in the past, and for you guys as well as players?
Well, this group of guys, last couple of years, we felt like maybe we haven't had the same shot as some of the guys ahead of us. A lot of guys, a lot of us have been playing each other since freshman, sophomore year, middle school together, and we believe in each other. I feel like that's different. That's not been here. There's always this belief. If I don't get my job done, that guy's going to get his job done. Back me up. So, I don't think we had that in the past. I think that's what separates us in general. Is that there's never a it's his fault. It's always let's move on. Let's get the next play. It's always positive.
That's a great answer there.
Yeah. That's like a mic drop answer.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one there. Is right. Nobody wants to follow that one. I'm glad there you go.
No, it doesn't sound like it. No.
I'd like to hear that from your quarterback.
Is it music time?
Yeah, that's right, because I was going to say that's a good answer right there. And now we have another question here before we let you guys go. It's our finale, and you might have seen this show, so you might have an idea of what's coming next. Glenn, why don't you serve it up for him?
It's go-to time. You're in the locker room pregame. What are you listening to on the iPods? What are you listening to on the iPad? What's the music? Huh? All they've been thinking about it.
That's right. One song. Yeah. What gets you going right before kickoff?
Everybody answers this one.
I'm tired weird. I listen to like SZA, Snooze.
SZA. There you go. That's our first SZA of the year.
I got to get my mind right, so I listen to Off 110th by NBA Youngboy.
Okay.
I like J. Cole, so I listen to Pride is the Devil, J. Cole.
It really depends on the mood. Half the time it's really what's playing in the locker room. I just like to lock in on focus on the game, and whatever's in the background's in the background. So
there you go.
He's going to be a politician.
Hey, Coach, what about you?
I guess it's probably the first song on our playlist. I put it there because that's the one I like. It's the Future? Last Breath from Creed. So it's not Pooh Shiesty or any of that nonsense. I'll tell you that.
There you go. I will tell you,
These
Creed's
guys are
been
trying to
working for a
switch
lot of
the
people.
playlist stuff. So, yeah.
Well, guys, we really appreciate you. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you guys have at home? Big game coming up. We want to tell anybody a reason to come out and support you guys, or a PSA to your school and your classmates, and why should they come out and check out the game this weekend?
We just appreciate our community and our school for supporting us throughout the fall, and we hope to see everybody there Friday night. And thank you guys as well for having us.
Thanks for coming out again. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time on a Wednesday to come join us. Hope we didn't interrupt the food when you guys got your food over there earlier, so I hope you can get back to it.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to take a break. The Milford Buccaneers, again, you can catch that one in action this weekend. Milford and Sussex Tech coming up later on in the week. So we're going to take a break. We come back. We'll talk about some other matchups coming up this weekend. We'll get to our Super Sevens, and then we'll wrap things up here from Rehobeth Beach, Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll be right back.
High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when three guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality. High Five Hospitality, founded
I'm Scott Kammerer, president of Sodell Concepts, the best restaurant group in the state, and we're inviting you to come join our team. Sodell Concepts is a growing hospitality company with 16 restaurants and a variety of other hospitality businesses, all located in beautiful southern Delaware. We have recently added many departments to our executive leadership team, including a training department, a property development department, and a construction department. We invite you to come live at the beach and work with a growing restaurant group with many opportunities to advance your career. Sodell Concepts Restaurant Group, come check us out. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer, president of Sodell Concepts, the best restaurant group in the state, and we're inviting you to come join our team. Soto Concepts is a growing hospitality company with 16 restaurants and a variety of other hospitality businesses, all located in beautiful southern Delaware. We have recently added many departments to our executive leadership team, including a training department, a property development department, and a construction department. We invite you to come live at the beach and work with a growing restaurant group with many opportunities to advance your career. Soto Concepts Restaurant Group, come check us out. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Today we're at Blue Coast Seafood Grill and Raw Bar in Rehobeth Beach, Delaware. Come check us out. Located in the Rehobeth Gateway, Blue Coast features indoor and outdoor dining and serves beautiful, simple food that highlights the flavors of southern Delaware. With chef-inspired daily specials, an award-winning wine list, and an extensive list of craft cocktails and local beer, Blue Coast is the perfect spot for a night out. Blue Coast Seafood Grill in Rehobeth Beach, Delaware, open 7 days a week year-round for lunch and dinner. See you soon. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Today we're at Fish On in the Villages of 5 Points. Come check us out. Fish On is committed to serving beautiful, simple coastal cuisine in a cool atmosphere with a happening bar, spacious dining room, and outside patio. Popular dishes include the seafood stew and fresh oysters from the Raw Bar. Fish On's recently renovated event room and is the perfect spot for your next event. Fish On in Lewis in the Villages of 5 Points, open 7 days a week, best happy hour around. See you soon.
And welcome back live inside DLS Weekly. Nick Allison-Drini and Glenn Frazier now joined back by our friends Benny Mitchell, Jason Winchell, and Mike Lang. Guys, a special thank you to the Milford Buccaneers and head coach Jed Bell for bringing the guys out here on a Wednesday night. We really appreciate it, making the trip here to the Rehobeth Beach, and great to talk to those guys. It's going to be a fun one this weekend coming up with Sussex Tech.
Yeah, I'll have that game. I'll have the call. So looking forward to that. Class AA, District 3 is going to be a fun end. They're all, as of right now, they're all in a hunt.
Yeah.
So Sussex Tech may be on the worst end of the hunt right now at 0-2. But, I mean, if they could creep up and get a second place in the district they're in, I think 5-5, Laurel's going to be in the hunt with all those bonus points they got. So.
And again, that's a good team making that jump up here, their inaugural year in Class 2A for the back-to-back Class 1A state champs, the Laurel Bulldogs. As Benny mentioned, he will have that one for you this Friday night, Sussex Tech and Milford, and then Sussex Central at Dover, another one on the slate coming up for this weekend, Glenn.
Yeah, Sussex Central getting healthy. Benny and I were talking while we were setting up for the show tonight, and a plethora of running backs for Coach John Wells. Of course, Coach Jed Bell was just talking about Sussex Tech running the wing T. Well, we know that's what they run at Sussex Central, and they have for years. So it'll be interesting to see if they can control clock against Dover, and Dover has that breakaway ability to score with Parker and Cosme. Cosme can cut on a dime. His ability to fake the defenders out is just mind-boggling.
Jalen Hurts-esque a little bit.
Yeah, he's very impressive. They're very good on both lines. So this will be the first live look I've seen of Sussex Central so far this year. I've seen Dover a couple of times now. This is a big game. Both teams are 2-0 in the district. Should Sussex Central pull the upset, then that's going to hurt Smyrna.
Yeah.
Because Smyrna might not have a shot to finish second in the conference, but there's always the possibility of a three-way tie for first, and we don't want to get into tiebreakers. So
that's right. Well, plenty of time for that later.
Yeah. Hey, let's get into it now. If Dover wins the game, this is the best record they've had to start a season. It will be 8-0 if they win since 2001. And one other thing I want to mention while we're on Dover, we've had too many tragic car accidents this year involving high school football players. We all know what happened at Delmar. Well, Sunday night there was an accident involving 3 team members of the Dover football team. One we know was their all-state kicker and punter, Brandon Yoder, who's been released from the hospital, came out to practice, I think, yesterday, and got to talk to coach and the players. Don't know what his health status is for the upcoming game and the rest of the season. And as of yesterday, the other 2 team members were still in the hospital. So thoughts and prayers going out to the Dover community. And listen, young people out there, be careful out there driving. We don't want to see any more accidents involving not just football players, but any student athletes in the state.
Absolutely. Again, couldn't have said it better myself. Great point there, Glenn. And again, though, everything gets started as well as we're going to take a look now to Thursday night, Mike and Jay. We have some Thursday night action coming up between or potentially tomorrow night between Tatnall and St. E's. So if you don't have Amazon Prime, you don't want to check out the Buccaneers and the Bills, we've got a better one for you with a big Class 1A matchup, guys. What do you see happening? A little preview of that one to come up.
This is a chance, if you have not seen Rashawn Lamont from Tatnall, and he's a very special player, and he's been running at quarterback for the Hornets this year, and it's a really potent offense. I saw them a couple weeks ago, and there was no answer for the guy. St. E's is battling. You know, we've talked about them before. They're young, not a huge roster. Tatnall isn't a huge roster either, but you know, St. E's is breaking in a lot of new talent this year. It's going to be a real big test for the Vikings. I mean, they can win, sure, they can win. So far, Rashawn Lamont's been almost unstoppable this year. And he's not alone. They have other players in that team, Mike Stamper and a couple other guys. It's the Lamont show up there at Tatnall.
That's right. It's been almost like that the last 3 years, right? We've been checking him out now. It seems like year in, year out, he continues as well as Stamper and those other guys continuing to get better and better.
He's a good dude, man. He's a really nice kid. And, you know, it's hard not to like the guy.
So it's a Thursday night football here on Delaware Live Sports, potentially again. You never know with things happening and technical difficulties, but as of right now, we are all set there. And then Benny rounding out on Saturday, Delmar and Laurel, a little matinee action for you this weekend.
A little homecoming at Laurel, and 8 miles between the two schools. It is a rivalry game. I'll tell you one thing Sean Larimore did. One of the first things he did when superintendent was he made homecoming a community event. And they do the parade on Friday night, and that place will be packed on Saturday. If it's a 10-year anniversary of a state championship, he will have them there. It's always a fun atmosphere. Hopefully they'll paint the end zones again, the checkerboard end zones,
that was cool.
The bulldog in the middle of the field. But this is a game last year that, this was one of Laurel's 4 2A wins last year. And it was a game they kind of ran away with. But Laurel right now, they're kind of stubbing their toe on offense. Took the loss to Woodbridge and then took the loss last week to Milford. And I expect Joey Jones to make the changes and get that offense up and running. He did. We saw it in the middle of the Woodbridge game. They were really struggling. They couldn't move the ball in the first half. He went to the Maryland eye and started moving the ball. They went down and scored a touchdown. But it was just too little, too late with the 2 scooping scores. Laurel, though, they 5-5. They could sneak in. They got some bonus points coming at the end. So the Bulldogs, I know they want to win the last 3, but they're still sitting on the outside of that bubble looking to pop it.
There you go. So 4 big matchups potentially coming at you live right here on Delaware Live Sports this weekend, all getting started Thursday. 2 matchups on Friday, and Benny, of course, will round it out Saturday morning, afternoon with Delmar and Laurel, of course, on Laurel's homecoming. Don't want to miss that one. It's going to be a fun weekend of some games to come here on Delaware Live Sports in the state and some football action. But, guys, now we've got a little bit of time for some bunker talk, and we're going to talk here for the first time in a little while, Mike and Jason, some volleyball when they had their committee meeting on Sunday morning. So let's talk a little bit about that bubble that we seem to have each and every year, some teams that might be on the outside looking in. What are some teams maybe on the bubble that you would be surprised if they did or did not make it this year, guys?
Well, Caravel, I'd be surprised if they make it. Young team, 5-8 right now with 2 matches left. If they win those 2 matches, they're probably going to get in. But right now, I think they're outside looking in, and I would be more surprised if they get in. And then DMA is another one. Another young team, played a tough schedule, and they might need a win or 2 this week to get back into the tournament hunt.
Again, those playoffs coming up right just around the corner for volleyball. And any surprises in the top 8 seeded teams in terms of first round buys, etc., Mike?
Yeah, we're looking at 3 Henlopen North teams in the top 8. With Smyrna, Cesar Rodney, and Dover.
Wow.
That Henlopen North is just loaded with bonus points. Some have in football, they have in volleyball too. And any school that loaded up with Henlopen North competition is going to rack up a lot of bonus points. So those 3 teams, Smyrna, CR, and Dover, are going to be right up there near the top. And Paddle, right now, they're 9-5 they played maybe the toughest schedule in the state, and they were 5-10 last year. Right now they're right on that 8-9 area, so they might be looking at a first round bye. So it's been a good year for paddle. And one other team that is potentially could get in was Brandywine. At one point was 1-7 this year. I mean 1-6. I'm sorry, they won 6 of their last 7. They may need a little help to get in, but it's been a remarkable turnaround for Brandywine. They played a really good schedule outside the Blue Hen Flight B. So Sunday should be kind of interesting in Dover.
Yeah, how about that? Jason, put a bow on it for us. Any closing words on volleyball as we are right ahead of tournament time?
It's going to be interesting come Sunday to see where some of those teams are and see what the matchups are and how they're going to do these tournaments moving forward. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be fun for some of those teams that like Mike said, might get that first round bye and avoid having to play on Wednesday, Thursday.
So again, everything going to come at Sunday morning, the committee meeting for volleyball. Now, guys, let's shift our focus to the football field where Benny and Jason both have spent time in the bunker recently. Jason, we know you're accustomed to the bunker. Benny, how is it down there?
It was dark. But gives you time to free your mind and load up a spreadsheet and let it rip.
I'll tell you, it's the perfect environment. Jason, he did a list for the 3 classes, last 2 teams currently in and the first 2 out. Guys, of those 4 teams in 3A, which 2 teams do you see making the tournament? We'll go through each class, but let's start with those 4 teams in 3A.
I would say I'm probably going to lean Smyrna in along with Appo right now. They would probably be my 2 favorite in, and I think William Penn and St. Mark's going to be left outside looking in.
Oh, not the Spartans, Jay. Say it ain't so.
But they both, William Penn and St. Mark's, play this week, so the winner of that game might have an inside track on the other one. But I just think Smyrna with the bonus points, as long as they don't get they have a couple tough games coming up, Cape and Sussex Central. They might have to win both or one of those 2 to get in. But it's going to be interesting. But I think bonus point-wise, Smyrna and Appoquinimink are the inside track.
All right, now let's shift to Class 2A. Guys, what do you have there?
Looks like the Henlopen South.
Right. Yes, it really
the old
is.
Henlopen South.
And they're going to play head-to-head, right? Like Benny said, I think Laurel with the bonus points, they can get to 5-5. They might have a shot. If they can get to 6, even better. But I'd probably lean Delmar right now and probably Laurel.
I think that my 2 games this week are possibly elimination games. Not so much for Milford, but they don't have a lot of bonus points, so they might want to grab that number 2 spot, or at least go 7-3, 8-2. And Laurel's, I think they need to get to 5-5. The bonus points will pull them through, but I don't think they can lose. I think Delmar, Laurel, neither team, or Delmar doesn't have a lot of bonus points coming. Yeah. So I think that's definitely an elimination game on Saturday.
Yeah, coming down the home stretch. So these games starting to mean more and more as we come just around the corner for playoff time for football. Now, guys, that takes us to Class 1A. Again, who's the, Jay, if you had to, Jay and Benny, first team out, you think, for Class 1A?
First team out? Ooh, it's a tough one. Who I'd like to see in is Dickinson. I think they're going to be unfortunately, I think they're going to be the first team out. But the team I'm going to watch for is Glasgow at 1-6. They have so many bonus points because they played up a class so many times this year. 3 times. I believe one of them is Carvel, who was probably give them 3 points because I don't see Carvel finishing below 9 wins.
No.
At worst 9-1, but so that's going to be 3 bonus points.
5. They get 2 for playing them.
And 2 for playing them. So 5 points for just that one game. So I think Glasgow's in a good spot and the rest of their schedule is favorable for them. So I can see them possibly getting to 4 and 6 and have enough points to get in there.
How about that?
And Glasgow has it looks like they could win out. Yeah. They have the teams they have left on the schedule. They could win out. I think St. Elizabeth, their season's on the line Thursday night.
And again, shout out to the Glasgow Dragons, my mother's alma mater. So shout out to the Glasgow Dragons there. And then, guys, if we take a look at maybe that 7th seed or one of those teams that might have a shot as of right now to get in Class 1, AJ. The team that we had a chance to talk to recently, I believe.
Yeah. I think St. E's has a chance. Like Benny said, they got to focus on tomorrow night first. They're gonna have to get by Tatnall.
It's a tough test.
But I think they what are they 3 and 4?
Right.
They pretty much need to win out, I think. But they played up against Archmere, so they'll get a couple points there. But they're a team that they need to win.
You're looking at a 1A where the 2 defending finalists may not even be in the picture in a couple
That's
weeks.
right. And then kind of that's what it was the last couple of years. It's been that, 2 teams on a collision between St. E's and Laurel. May not be the case this year in First State Military Academy. Again, one of those teams that we had a chance to talk to. They're right in the mix to get in as well. So there you have, guys. Any closing words on our bunker talk for football here so far, guys? There you go. I think we hit every mark.
Program note for you, though, Nick. You mentioned First State Military Academy. The Central crew has made a schedule change. It's our only schedule change we've made on our preseason schedule.
We're allowed to do that in Week 8.
And we've already been approved to do the first time ever any media outlet has broadcast early college, high school, and First State Military Academy.
There we go.
So we're going to have a historic game a week from Friday night at the old Wesley College Stadium.
Oh, how about that one?
Stadium.
And again, what a show.
They're excited.
And what a show we had with both of those teams on last week. A packed house down in Dover. It was a great show, and we thank both of them and those and coaches and the squads for coming out and making that a great Wednesday night.
That's up in Dover from here, man.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. From where we are now, who knows? We like to travel up and down. Here we go. We're in Rehobeth Beach. We're going to take our last break of the show here now. When we come back, we're going to finish up with our Super 7s. We'll get to some of our top performers, and then you'll, of course, see top plays to end the night. We're going to wrap it up all here from the Buffalo Wild Wings live in Rehobeth Beach when we come back on DLS Weekly.
Turn your vision into a reality with Capstone Homes Design Center, bringing personalization, luxury, and quality all into one location, where you'll meet with our certified design consultant that'll show you exactly what you're choosing, so you can make the best choice for you when designing your new home. From first home to vacation houses, we build and design homes for everyone. Set up your appointment now and design your dream home today at Capstone Homes.
I'm Chef Hari Cameron. At Grandpa Mac, pasta's our thing. We serve quality food fast that's not fast food. We make everything in-house and serve something for everyone. We're open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. Follow the noodle to Grandpa Mac.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Surf Bagel has served the community in Delaware for over 20 years, providing fresh, hot bagels, breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, wraps, salads, local coffee and smoothies, and our iconic merch. Welcome to Surf Bagel. We're stoked to serve you.
Welcome to Surf Bagel. Welcome to Surf Bagel.
And welcome back live to the Buffalo Wild Wings Rehobeth Beach location here on DLS Weekly. Nick Alessandrini, Glenn Frazier, once again joined Benny Mitchell, Jason Winchell, and Mike Lang making his way back to the desk here. Nick Halliday behind running all the 1s and 2s. And guys, now it's time to talk a little bit about our Super 7s as we head into another week in terms of football here in the state of Delaware. And we're going to get started with Class 1A, and it comes to you like this. Coming in at number 7, First State Military Academy, who we just talked about here a few moments ago, followed by at number 6, The Force from Wilmington Charter. At 5, Indian River. 4, Polytech. 3, Seaford. 2, Brandywine. And 1, Rayshon Lamont and Tatnall, another team we talked about already here so far today. We are going to keep it rolling as we head now into our Class 2A rankings. And that's going to get started again at number 7 with a team we just had up here a few moments ago as well, the Milford Buccaneers. They come in at number 7. At number 6, Delmar. 5, Woodbridge. 4, Red Lion. 3, Wilmington Friends, the defending champs. 2, the Howard Wildcats, who have made their way back up the rankings. And then, of course, staying at number 1, they have been throughout the season, is the Caravel Buccaneers. And now let's head to Class 3A and get started with, at number 7, the Golden Knights of Sussex Central High School, followed by the Appoquinimink Jaguars at number 6. How about the Hodson Silver Eagles? Well, great rebound season for Coach Dave Collins and Hodson. They're coming in at number 5. Smyrna still able to get that 4 spot. And then here's the top 3. Salesianum coming there with under Coach Gene Deladon in his first year with Salesianum. They're at 3. Number 2, Middletown. And then rounding out the top spot here in our Class 3A Super 7 is the Dover Senators. So, guys, there you have it, our 3 classes, our 3 Super 7s. What stands out to you? Surprises? Anything like that? Benny, we'll start with you. What kind of stands out amongst those rankings here?
Class 1A and 2A are going to be a dogfight for a state title. You might see an upset there. After that Seaford Brandywine game, it's tightened up. The race has really tightened up. And don't count Indian River out yet either. They stumbled a little bit, but they'll be ready to rock and roll in the season. Nothing surprises me here. I think the teams at this point have basically earned their rankings. And at the beginning of the year, we didn't have the head-to-heads that we have there in the last couple of weeks. And now these teams are more earning their rankings more than we're voting on, because it's making it pretty easy now. I'm sure some people question, how do you have Smyrna at number 4, at 2 and 5? But look at their losses. They lost to number 1, number 2, and number 3 in all close games. And then as well, the 2 really good out-of-state teams they played, where Cape has a chance, they're at 4 and 3. They have a chance to put the Eagles away this week. They can put them out. And so we'll say 4 and 3 Cape and 2 and 5 Smyrna. A lot of people would look at that and go, that can't be much of a game, but wait for the results on Friday night.
That's going to be a fun one. I know, like you said, but I'm smiling about it too, looking ahead to that one. Guys, anything stand out, and maybe a team that you thought might be in the Super 7 that isn't, or anything along those lines, Jay?
Not really any surprises. Like Benny said, 1A and 2A, there's dog fights. But I look at those top 3, maybe even 4 teams in Smyrna, because they played those top 3 teams close. Now, I think any of those 3 or 4 teams can win on a given day when they're playing the other one. Dover beat Sally's head-to-head in a good game. Sally's beat Smyrna. Like you said, all of them have beat Sally's. Middletown is this Friday night.
Right.
This Friday night.
That'll be a good one.
That will probably be for the District 1 title and probably the 2nd seed in the tournament with the district winners getting the top 2 seeds. So that's a big game Friday night, and do you want to be a 1 or 2 seed this year? You see Smyrna as a 7 or 8 seed.
Right.
So, it's going to be a very 3A. I think it might not be as like the other 2, but I think it could be a fun tournament depending on where some of these teams are seeded.
I think what we are going to have is good quarterfinals in 1A and 2A where we haven't had them the past 2 years. I think there are going to be some tight first-round games.
It's going to be good. Glenn, you've seen a lot of those 3A teams so far this year. What do you think of those 3A rankings? Anything stand out to you, or anything notable, I should say?
Yeah, I agree with what Jay and Benny had to say. To me, I think there's a cutoff under Smyrna. Any one of those top 4, to me, could win a state championship. The other 4 are looking to be a spoiler. Unlike 1A and 2A, where it's just anybody's game,
right,
top to bottom, except for maybe 2A. Caravel is head and shoulders above everybody else. But all the other teams, 2 through 8 that will qualify for 2A, what a battle. It's all going to come down to matchups and how they're seeded. I can't wait for that, but let's get the 3 remaining regular season games.
Right.
And speaking of those regular season games, Glenn, I'll start with you here for this one. Is there any game that intrigues you? I know you've got a good one yourself. Is that the one maybe that intrigues you the most, or are you looking elsewhere? I know it's hard to make that decision on a game you're calling. I know it's a good one. So if you have to pick another one, what maybe game intrigues you the most?
How about the top 2 teams in District 1 of 1A? Charter and Tatnall are playing on November 4th. Can't wait for that one. But before that, Tatnall at St. E's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Might be an elimination game for the Vikings, and who would have thought that? Going into the season, we had them ranked number 1 in that class. We've got Polytech hosting Seaford, and that should be a good one there. In 2A, Caravel and Red Lion, they face off the final week of the season, but
That's a good
how
one.
about Howard and Archmere Saturday at Abyssinia? Big game for Archmere Academy. The District 3 and 2A, we talked about it when we were talking to Jet Bell. They're all going to have to battle each other coming down the stretch, wide open.
Benny, you've got 2 good ones this weekend. You're going to go to one of those, or maybe another game that intrigues you as well this
Like I said earlier on, they're both potentially elimination games.
Yes, they are.
I think in single A, the 2 teams tied at number 3 right now, Seaford and Polytech, huge game. I think they both, if Seaford wins, I think they both make the tournament. In Class 3A, one we kind of overlooked here, number 5 Hodgson and number 6 Appoquinimink.
Yeah, how about that?
That could be to get you out of, you want to be the 5th seed. You don't really want to be the 7 or the 8 right now, or the 6. So, you want to kind of move up there. It's a big game. Another one we're not talking, Woodbridge Lake Forest. Lake Forest is coming healthy. Woodbridge on a little bit of a roll, got beat in a non-conference or non-district game. But Tracy Johnson is hard to stop. And we're going to see how healthy Lake Forest is. They're not out of it yet either. District 3 is crazy, and it's going to have a crazy fun ending.
Yeah, Lake Forest, a team when healthy. We had a chance to check out a very talented team. And again, as they're starting to get, baby back to their normal selves, what we expected at the beginning of the year. Mike and Jay, what about you guys? Anything you're looking forward to this week? Maybe a little bit beyond? What intrigues you guys coming up here?
Benny mentioned an Appo-Hodgson game. I think that could be fireworks in that game. It's a couple of, Hodgson tends to run the ball a little bit more, but Appo's like the aerial attack. They like to throw, and Hodgson can throw, and that could be a lot of fun on Saturday morning. Brandywine is at First State Military Academy, and I know Brandywine has been really good this year. They needed overtime against Seaford, so First State game's at 2:30 on Friday afternoon.
How about that?
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, good. So we got some good ones coming up here this week and beyond. And Jay, have any?
Yeah, like I said, I mentioned earlier, Sally's Milltown. I think that's going to be good. But Archmere Howard, they're both undefeated in that District 2, Class 2. The winners got the inside track for that thing. And remember, just the top team in each district in 2A gets the auto bid, not the top 2. So that game means a lot more to both those teams on Saturday. I think that's going to be a instant classic down there at Abyssinia.
Yeah, that's going to be going on. We had a chance to check out Archmere twice, and they were with Caravel in that game throughout that one. Had a chance, a couple turnovers in the red zone kind of cost them there, and then they get the win over DMA. So that's going to be a good one. Howard also now back up to number 2 behind RJ Matthews there in those rankings. So that is going to be a good one. And now take us now to our local college news and the local athletes. I'll tell you what, guys, we all need Maryland Terps gear. We need it all right here. And again, we can thank Macy Bradford from Delaware, her 8th goal of the season. How about another game winner for Macy Bradford? The Terps now ranked 7th in the nation, able to number 1 Northwestern in a big conference matchup tomorrow night. So we got to get our Terps gear. We got to check that game out. That's going to be a good one. Macy Bradford doing big things, guys, down at Maryland.
And her high school team, they'll be playing for the conference championship Saturday against Smyrna. Right now they have it listed at Delmar, so I'm not sure if that's going to be correct, but they will be playing. Delmar Smyrna will be playing Saturday for the Henlopen Conference Championship.
There you go. Again, it all plays together. And now we head to our top performers of the week. And Benny, you talked about him all right. He was a king on homecoming. He's going to lead off our top performers today.
King James from Cape Henlopen, Markai James, headed to JMU next year. 19 carries, 216 yards, 4 touchdowns, and was crowned homecoming king at halftime.
How about that? Doing it all. What a night it was for Marquis James. And now a good one down at Dover. Another big play for this young man who's been fantastic all year long.
Yeah, Parker, as we mentioned, taking over for the injured Jaquan Kilby. 25 carries, 161 yards, and scored twice against Smyrna. He's now scored 5 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 games.
There you go. Now rounding out our top performers, we're going to head to Polytech, and it's going to be Noah Walker. You know, guys, if something's not broke, you don't fix it. They gave him the ball 36 times in that one, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. Two's wild for Noah Walker. Again, 222 yards, 2 scores, our third top performer of the week, rounding out a great week of performances.
And Nick, we talk about Polytech there. They're having an historic season, too.
They are.
And they've never made the playoffs before. This looks like a great opportunity this season for them to finally change that.
And again, they were hovering up in those rankings for a little bit, a couple of weeks, week in and week out. It seems we'll see if they can, as Glenn mentioned, get their way back up in there and into the postseason. Guys, closing words here from a great show, and a special thanks to Milford for coming out and joining us, the Buccaneers. Again, we were at Rehobeth Beach. A nice trip for us. Closing words as we head into, I believe, week number 9.
Yeah, Glenn, you touched on it earlier. Just to get off the sport. I mean, we're here to talk sports, but we're all tired of seeing kids get hurt. Man, I'm a dad. My kids, when they were driving, that gave me more gray hair than anything when my kids got their license. Crying out loud, put on a seatbelt. I mean, it's the easiest thing you can do. Just wear a seatbelt, and we don't have to. Accidents will still happen, but you got a much better chance of getting out of that
Absolutely.
car in one piece. Benny, you did this. You were a cop. And I'm sure you saw some bad results. I mean, come on, kids. We want to watch you on the field and not see you in the news. So put a seatbelt on, drive carefully, and have fun, but have it safely.
Absolutely. Jason?
Like I mentioned earlier, volleyball season ends. Their committee meets on Sunday. Field hockey meets on Monday. And soccer meets next Friday. So those 3 playoffs right around the corner, state tournament time. Football, like Glenn said, 3 more weeks, and then that's going to start. So this is the fun time of the year as these state tournaments all start. Get out and support the schools at these state tournament games.
It's that time of the year. We're ready for it.
Time
Benny?
for us to rest up because we got to cover all those semis
That's right.
and finals somewhere at some time. And then right after that, football comes up. Again, some big streams coming this week, some big games over the next 3 weeks as we round out the football season. Appreciate everybody that watches the streams we provide. Please visit our sponsors and let them know that you're watching our games. And, to our followers, we really appreciate you. And to our critics, we appreciate you more. Keep watching.
And Benny, right, wrestlers hitting the mat soon? Or
really soon.
Really soon. Almost that time. Hard one in the mat as we get ready for winter sports. Glenn, closing words as we close out a showdown and down the beach.
Well, first off, I can't believe there's only 3 weeks left in the regular season. It's just flying by. And I'm looking forward to the final 3 weeks, and there's going to be a lot of tough ball games coming up. We're coming down to the line, and all these district titles are on the line. 1A and 2A, it's all up in the air, even 3A. And some big games we've already talked about it coming up this weekend. Looking forward to the final few games of the regular season.
It's going to be a fun one. Action-packed weekend. 4 games here on Delaware Live Sports starting tomorrow night. And again, don't forget, you can find more news and updates on the website every day. Please sure to visit DelawareLiveSports.com. Special thanks to the Milford Buccaneers for joining us. And as Benny said, make sure to visit all of our sponsors. We appreciate you guys, and thank you for everything you do for us. And remember to tune in live next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. We'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings back up in Christiana. I think we're heading back up north next week, and you can catch that at 7 p.m. So as always, we're going to close it out now with our top plays of the week. Thanks for tuning in. Another edition of DLS Weekly is in the bag. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home.